My name is Jason Buffington. I'm the Senior Analyst at the Enterprise Strategy Group covering data protection. And today we're going to take a quick look at one piece of data from the Trends in Protecting Highly Virtualized and Private Cloud Infrastructure report. One of the questions we asked in that report was specifically around the current and forward-looking strategy for protecting both virtual and physical servers. This pie wedge actually asks two different questions. Are they using a unified or a separate solution today? And what do they plan on doing in the future? Moving clockwise around the chart, let's take a look at how people responded. 30% of folks said they use a unified solution today and they plan on continuing to do so. Another 24% of folks said they're using a unified solution today, but they're actually planning on going to a separate solution for protecting their virtual environments moving forward. Almost even numbers. Another 19% said they're using a unified solution today, but they're open to either a unified or a separate solution based on what the best fit is at the time they evaluate. Similarly, another 18% said they're using a separate solution for protecting their virtual environments today, but they're open to either unified or separate moving forward. 6% of folks said they're using a separate solution today, but they're planning on going towards a unified solution in the future. And 3% of folks said they're using a separate solution for protecting their VM infrastructure today, and they plan on doing it that way. At first glance, that seems kind of small. Only 3% of folks are using a separate solution for protecting their VMs and planning on doing that way. But I don't think that tells the whole story. To really understand that, we need to look at the interdependencies between these 6 pie wedges. Today, we can see that 73% of folks are using a unified solution. Now, that does not mean a single data protection product protecting everything in their infrastructure, but it does mean they're using the same technology for protecting their physical and their virtual servers. About 3 out of 4 folks. Compare that with 27% of folks are using a separate solution. But even that doesn't tell the whole story. To really get into it, let's look at what the future holds. Remember, we asked folks not only what they're doing today, but also what they intend to do moving forward. And interestingly enough, only 33%, 1/3 of the respondents in this particular survey, said they were committed to the status quo, meaning they were either using a unified solution and plan to continue to doing so, that's 30%, or they're using a separate solution and plan on continuing to do so, at 3%. So only 1/3 of folks are actually planning on doing things tomorrow the same way they're doing them today. Interestingly enough, almost the same amount, another 30% of folks are actually planning on switching sides. In the upper left-hand corner, 6% of folks are planning on moving from a separate solution today into a unified solution moving forward. Compare that with the large yellow wedge in the bottom right-hand corner, that another 24%. So 1 out of 4 folks have a unified solution today, but anticipate moving towards a separate solution for their virtual environments moving forward. That's interesting. 30% of folks are planning on switching sides compared with only 33% of folks that are planning on staying with what they've got. So far, we're even numbers. But here's the part that I think is probably most interesting. When we look at the future-facing view, 36% of folks anticipate using a unified solution moving forward. That includes the light blue wedge in the upper left-hand corner that are separate today but moving towards unified, plus the 30% in the large blue wedge in the upper right-hand corner using a unified and planning on staying that way. 36% of folks anticipate using a unified solution in the future. Compare that with the tiny little purple wedge in the top of the screen. 3% using a separate solution today and planning to continue that way, plus another 24% in yellow that are using a unified but going separate. What I want to draw your eye to is that 27% of the respondents claim to be anticipating using a separate solution for their virtual environment moving forward. That's actually the same percentage of people that claim to be using a separate solution today. 27% are using a separate solution today. 27% have stated that they're planning on using a separate solution in the future. What that doesn't include, though, is the whole whopping 37% of folks that are open to either. Either separate but open to considering in orange, or green, unified but open to considering either. The market is really up in the air. You have almost equal number of folks between those that say they're going to stay with the methodology that they have versus those that are planning on switching sides. We also have almost the same amount of people that are using separate solution today, planning on using a separate solution in the future. By the way, they're not the same people. And then we've got the largest single chunk of folks that say we're open to either, whatever fits our environment. And that's probably the best conclusion of all, is to be open to what fits your environment. Here's the thing I can tell you. The question is not, can I back up my VMs? It used to be. It used to be that the hypervisors didn't provide adequate APIs such that normal backup solutions could do their jobs. And so there was a whole market that was created in order to back up virtual environments. But today, between VMware vStorage APIs for data protection, or VADP, or with Microsoft Hyper-V and Volume Shadow Copy Services, or VSS, you can be assured of backing up a VM. That's not the question. The questions you ought to be thinking about is, how agile is my restore? Can I restore individual items from my VM-based backups? Can I power up the VM from the backup pool storage without first restoring it to a hypervisor? That's going to directly impact your recovery time and your SLAs. How little data is my backup solution sending from the production hosts to the backup storage? That's going to be a combination of volume tracking, of change block tracking, of smart deduplication, client-side awareness, etc. What kind of instrumentation or visibility do I have on how my backups and my restores are occurring? Did you know that 5 out of 6 of the top challenges reported in protecting virtual environments have to do with visibility? Number 1 is around, can I restore the data? But 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all around, can I confirm that I did it? The backups, the restores, bottlenecks, identifying troubleshooting spots, etc. Visibility is a huge set of questions that you need to make sure you have the right answers for. How well does my backup solution integrate with my hypervisor or my private cloud tool set? That's going to be around ease of use and ease of manageability, as well as orchestration and automation. Am I getting enough value out of the product itself? Meaning, am I getting what I'm paying for, and is it worth it? And then lastly, because we started talking about separate versus unified, if I do choose to use a separate solution for protecting my VMs, does the recovery agility and the alternative pricing model, meaning the stuff up above, does that outweigh the operational benefits of a single UI and a single deduplicated storage pool? And as we've seen on that pie chart, the answers are not universal in one direction or the other. But at least hopefully these questions help you get to the answer that fits for you. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Buffington with the Enterprise Strategy Group. And if you're going to be at VMworld, come see me. If not, follow me on Twitter as JBuff. And thanks for watching.